At their price points, Chromebooks look absolutely amazing for anybody looking for a budget system for online education for middle school or high school. But they have one major flaw that I just can't come to terms with to actually recommend them to anybody. They have an online-based environment. And if you're like me in the DeLand area using Spectrum because that's pretty much all they have available, then you know Spectrum is pretty iffy on if you're gonna have internet today or if you're not. And now if you buy a system that relies on the internet to get things done, then what do you do when it goes down? Okay, so before you start bashing me on, yes, you can still use a Chromebook without the internet, then just hear me out real quick. You can turn all the documents on your system into offline files so that you can edit them if you don't have the internet. And you can create new ones offline. But that's not a default setting. You actually have to go in and change it so you can actually download all your files offline so you can edit them as needed. So if you don't have the setting or don't know to do that, if you are in a location with no internet, you can't edit anything that you already have created. You can only create new items. So let's just say you're a very proactive student and you have multiple files going on at the same time. If the internet goes out, yes, it will save those files in a offline format until you're done editing. And then once you're connected again, it will upload it again. But let's just say when you're in the middle of that, you need to reference material that you've already worked with, but you can't. You don't have access to it. You lost internet. One of the major issues with that though, of going offline, is that because they're so cheap, you don't have a lot of storage on the device itself. A lot of the ones I'm looking at around $200 or less only have 16 gigs of actual storage on the system. But now once you start saving photos and or music for offline mode as well, that builds up really fast and now you don't have a full 16 gigs of storage anymore. So the other solution for this is, hey, go out and buy a USB stick. That's perfectly fine. But now again, when talking USB sticks, yeah, they can be a little tiny and are easy to lose. So do you really want to back up all those important files onto a USB stick that you can possibly lose? And that's one of the major issues that I have with Chromebooks and why I would prefer anybody buy an actual Windows PC. You can still access Google Docs and drives from any Windows PC, and it can still be backed up online. So why not just use a system that can actually operate offline out of the box rather than trying to mess with all the settings to make everything's backed up? The added benefit of actually using a Windows PC is that you can use Office 365 built onto the system. You don't have to access it through the web or anything like that. It's built into the system and you can access it at any point in time, creating any type of file. Again, as soon as you make any of those files, they're on your PC as you make them. So you don't have to wait for any backing up or anything like that. You can upload it to back it up. Another benefit is schools oftentimes have access to these Windows programs that can actually give students these keys and access to them for free. So the student doesn't even have to pay for anything. So for a Chromebook, yes, if you plan on using the device just for basic usage and you need to create some documents here and there and make sure that they're saved, that's okay. But again, I don't like the fact of, hey, if the internet switches, then you can't do anything. Also, a lot of Windows PCs now are definitely in that same ballpark, $200 to $300. So at those price points, I don't really see any benefit of going to a Chromebook versus buying a basic Windows PC. But hey, my name is Mike, and that's just my opinion. So if you already bought a Chromebook or still plan on buying a Chromebook, why did you buy it? And why is it still attractive for you? I just want to know. If you found any of this information helpful or not, let me know in the comments down below. Let's just talk about it. And if you're interested in budget-friendly Windows laptops, head over to my page, Mike Likes That, where I already have a few posts going over exactly that. Apple, I just don't want to go.